Okay, ji, Assalamu alaikum. This is Ma'am Arooj, and today, in continuation with our lectures on parts of speech, we'll be focusing on verbs. We have done nouns, and the two most important things associated with nouns, that are adjectives and pronouns. So today we'll be starting with verbs, and then we're going to move on with adverbs and so on and so forth. So first of all, when we talk about verbs, we need to understand the different types of verbs. Now, what verbs are, you already would probably know. They are words that denote something that happened, but there are many categories of verbs that we are going to look at right now. Okay, so you will see that the traditional definition of verb, that it defines an action, is more or less something that doesn't hold when you have a little deeper knowledge of verbs. So, but like, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that uh, it is more than just an action. A verb is more than just an action. Let's find out how. So, we are going to do types of verbs. Now, there are many, many types of verbs, but we are going to start with the four basic ones. Then we're also going to go over transitive and intransitive verbs. We're also going to look at regular and irregular verbs. But for today's lecture, we'll be focusing on types of verbs that are that mainly are used to show an action or something associated with that they are used to describe something about the object, the subject of the sentence. So let's start without um, further ado. The first type of verb that we're going to look at today is action verb, obviously. Okay, so action verb always comes first because, again, when you're taught verbs from a very young age, you're taught that they show action. So yeah, action verb is the first and most basic type of verb. So its definition you would probably already know, that action verb is the kind of verb that shows action, that denotes something being done. Again, action being performed, right? Something being done, something being performed, a work being, accomplished, whatever. Okay, so anything. The hint to remember is that you can actually picture it happening. You can actually picture it happening. Acha, right now, this is not as important. I'll come back to why I wrote this sentence when I was explaining action verb. But for now, just let it be here. Acha ji. The types, the examples. Now, examples could be anything: walk, talk, run, jump, kick, swim, so on and so forth. Okay, so anything that you can perform. Okay, you can perform walk, you can perform talk, you can perform run. These are things that you can actually do. You can jump, you can kick, you can swim. Okay, you can actually picture it happening. या इसकी जगह पे ये करने कि you can actually do it. You can actually do it. Okay, you can just get up and perform it. Okay, I wrote perform with small letters. That's not an issue. Never mind. Okay, ji. I hope that was clear. We are not going into tenses right now, but walk can become walking, walk can become walked. Okay, so we are not going to focus on tenses. We are just focusing on verbs as a part of speech today. We'll be doing tenses separately. Okay, we have already touched tenses. That's the I know that we have. But after understanding the types of verbs, I will do a revision of tenses as well, because you are able to better understand tenses once you've done types of verbs. Okay, ji. After action verb, I would do the second one that I'll do is stative verbs. Now, why am I doing stative verbs at the second place? That is because stative verbs sometimes look like action verbs, and I'm just going to show it to you. But first, let me define it. Stative verbs are verbs that show the state, show the state or condition that something is in, that something exists in. Just write the short form. Okay, so it's just showing how something is existing. Okay, so and you cannot perform stative verbs. Now I will explain why I wrote you can actually do it or perform it with action verbs. Now, stative verbs are verbs that just show that something is or something exists in that form. Okay, so examples are seems, looks, smells, so on and so forth. Verbs like these. So now the difference, let me explain this phrase to you guys now. Why I wrote this phrase. Okay, I'm just going to highlight it. Oh, what did I do? Never mind. Okay, so the reason I wrote this phrase over here, where is the spotlight? Here is the spotlight. This little phrase over here, I wrote this because it has something to do with the explanation of stative verbs. Now, let me quickly get to that. I'm going to write two sentences over here, and both will use the verb look. Okay, look is the verb, and both the sentences are going to be using the verb look. Okay, so I looked out the window. First sentence. Second sentence, the mountain looked amazing. Okay, so I am looking outside the window, or mountain jo hai wo, it's looking beautiful. Okay, it's looking amazing. Now, in the first sentence, both the sentences have the word looked in them. Okay, you can see that it's identical. Both the sentences contain the word looked, right? Looked and looked. However, in the first sentence, looked is an action that I am performing. Okay, I is performing the action look. Okay, in the second one, is mountain performing the action looked? Is mountain looking at something? No, mountain is not performing the action looked. So, what is looked then? Is it not a verb? Yes, it is a verb, but it is only showing what condition was the mountain in. It was looking amazing. It was existing in this state, this amazing condition. Okay, so this looked is a stative verb, even though uske saath et laga hai, it has et with it. Okay, we say कि action verbs, action can exist in past, action can exist in future, action can exist in present. So even though it has ed with it, it is not an action. It's a state. It's showing the state of the subject which it follows. But in this one, it is showing the action of the subject it followed. So stative verbs and action verbs, we do them together because children sometimes confuse them. Right? Okay. So I hope that is clear. Let us move on. The next type of verb we have is called your helping verb. So we have already discussed helping verb again while we were doing tenses. And what did we discuss about it? We discussed that helping verbs, now I'm going to write a hint over here. They always come with action verbs, right? They always come with action verbs. They help action verbs. Helping verbs are small verbs that help action verbs. Okay, they always come with action verbs. There will be an action verb in the sentence, and with it there will be a helping verb. Now, helping verbs are, is, are, was, were, has, have, and had. These are helping verbs. Okay, these helping verbs are also called auxiliaries. Okay, so sometimes you get MCQ like this, that what is the auxiliary in this? So you don't get confused. Auxiliary and helping verb, they are the same thing. Okay, so now these are helping verbs. Now, another thing, another type of verb that we do side by side with helping verb are your, sorry, linking verbs. Okay, so the reason why I'm not giving an example of helping verbs and doing linking verbs before is that, again, I'm going to give you the example of both together. Okay, the way I did with look, stative, and action, I explained it. I'm going to give you the example of linking and helping verbs together. Now, linking verbs, they form a link between subject and its quality. Okay, so whatever the sentence is about, whatever the subject of the sentence is, that and some quality of it. So for example, and again, linking verbs are the same. Is, are, was, were, has, have, had, etc. Okay, so now I am going to tell you how linking verbs and helping verbs, they differ. Okay, so the hint is that helping verb always has another action verb with it. So I'm going to give you the example of is. Now, I'm going to write two sentences using is. Look at the first one. Sorry, let me start with a capital letter. She is walking, right? She is walking. She is beautiful. Now, both the sentences contain the word is, right? Both the sentences have the word is in them. And in both the sentences, is a verb. So now which type of verb is? Is. I'm sorry. That's funny to me. So which type of verb is? Is over here is a helping verb. HV. And is over here in the second sentence is a linking verb. So what's the difference? In the first sentence, it is coming with an action verb, walking. But in the second sentence, it is just a link between the subject she and its quality beautiful. Uske beech mein, it is just forming a link. It is just there to connect she with her quality. She has this quality that she is beautiful, and is just forming that link between the quality and her, right? So again, helping verbs, they will always come with action verbs. In the sentence, you will have action verb. But if there is in a sentence and after is, there is no main verb, no action verb, right? Then you would know that this is a linking verb. This is not a helping verb. Even though they look alike, they are literally the same. Is, am, are, was, were, has, have. Here also we have the same. Had, also had. I have not written had over here. Right? And here we have the same list, exact same list. Only difference is that over here it will always follow with an action verb, right? And again, action verb and stative verbs, difference is, main difference when you are given, a sentence and you have to spot which type of verb it is, ask yourself, can I do it? Okay? Ask yourself, is it something that that the action, the subject is performing? Okay? Ask yourself, is the mountain doing this action? No, it's not. It's not doing this action, so it's not action verb. Okay, so again, picture it. You can actually do it, perform it, and second hint was you can picture the subject doing it. If the subject cannot do it, if the subject is not doing it, then it is not an action verb, it's a stative verb. So for example, let's do another example. And you are going to answer, which type of verb it is, right? The dog smelled the thief out. ठीक है? Dog ने उसको सूंघ के ढूंढ लिया. The dog smelled the thief out. Is smelled an action verb or a stative verb? Now ask yourself, is the subject dog performing this action of smelling? Yes, it is. So it is an action verb. But if I say, the food smells delicious, is food doing the action of smelling? Does food have a nose to smell with? No. Food is not performing this action. Food's state is that it is delicious. So this is a stative verb. Smelled here is an action verb. Smelled here is a stative verb. Right? I hope that this is clear. Now, that brings us to the tricky part. Now, there are some verbs that fall in all the four categories. For example, has. Has falls in all the four categories. How? How is that? Now, let me just do this with red color, because I think that our board is filled now. So I'm going to just change the color, or we already have red. I'm just going to go with green, right? So I'm going to write has as an action verb over here. Sarah has tea in the morning. Yeah, usually people say Sarah drinks tea in the morning, but you have tea, right? You take tea. You have breakfast. You take breakfast. People say, have you eaten breakfast? That is not right. It's technically not wrong either, because you do eat it, but the right words to use is, have you taken breakfast? Have you had breakfast? Have is used. I have breakfast in the morning. I have breakfast at 8. Okay, so Sarah has tea in the morning. Now, has is an action that she is performing over here. She is having tea. Okay, it's in a wrong manner said that she drinks tea, but has over here does mean drink, and it's an action. Has over here is the action that Sarah is performing. Similarly, if I say that the house has 4 rooms. Now, is the house performing the action has? No. The house just has 4 rooms. So has over here is a stative verb, right? It's just showing the state of the house, right? And, linking and helping you, we have this list over here and it's already there, right? Has is also a linking verb. Has is also an action, helping verb. So you have to be careful with the hints. Okay, action is something that the subject is performing. State is something that is just showing that this is how it exists. Helping verb will always come with a main verb, with an action verb. And link is just between a quality and a noun or pronoun. Any pronoun or noun and its quality. Uzma is intelligent. Whatever. Okay, so on and so forth. I hope that this is clear. If you have any more questions, you can reach me out on phone. We are going to do transitive and intransitive as well, but I am going to record a separate lecture for this, because I don't want the file to become too heavy for me to have a problem sharing it. Take care and best of luck. Happy studying. Thank you. Bye bye.